Last 5 seconds. Ready? Start. Sir, my other important objective in respect of the corporate tax structure is to provide incentive for higher production and exports. I am therefore continuing the two schemes announced last year and making them more liberal. As regards the scheme for excess production, I will come to the details later while discussing my proposals in respect of indirect taxes. In respect of exports, the scheme announced by me last year provided some tax relief to the exporters whose export turnover for any year exceeded that of the immediately preceding year by more than 10%. The total relief preceding year by more than 10%. The total relief available under last year's scheme was also subject to maximum of 10% of tax payable. I now propose to simplify the liberalize the scheme and remove both the minimum qualifying amount and limit of relief. Exporters will be entitled to deduct 5% of their incremental turnover in computing their taxable income. Thus, under the new scheme, all increments in export turnover will be entitled to relief. Exports of all goods will qualify for this concession, expecting a few specified items, as the new provision will take effect from the assessment year 1983-84. The provision made last year is proposed to be deleted. Honorable members must be aware of the phenomenon of companies which are flourishing but are paying no tax at all or only a nominal tax. This is largely due to these companies availing of the tax incentives and concessions available under the provisions of the Income Tax Act. It has been a matter of concern to us that under our tax system, several highly profitable companies are able to reduce their tax liability to zero even though they continue to pay high dividends. It seems reasonable that profitable and prosperous companies should contribute at least a small portion of their profits to the national exchequer at a time when others and less better off sections of society are bearing a burden. I therefore propose to provide that fiscal incentives and concessions shall not be absorb more than 70% of the profits. This would secure that companies pay a minimum tax on at least 30% of their profits. I propose to levy income tax at a flat rate of 25% on the gross amount of interest received by foreign companies on loans advanced by them in foreign currency. The income tax payable by companies at present bears a surcharge of 2.5% of such income tax. I propose to raise the rate of surcharge to 5%. However, in lieu of the additional surcharge payable by them, companies will be offered the option to make a deposit with the Industrial Development Bank of India under a scheme to be notified by the government. I am not taking credit for any revenue gain from this measure in the expectation that the additional surcharge would in fact be deposited by the companies with Industrial Development Bank of India. The amount so deposited should help to provide funds for modernization and thus flow back to the corporate sector. Our corporate sector structure is riddled with a large number of different kinds of deductions. While each deduction may seem to have a merit, the aggregate effect is to complicate tax administration, provide opportunities for misuse, and reduce the growth of revenues. As a step towards rationalization of this structure, I have reviewed the various deductions. The Income Tax Act at present provides for weighted deduction of expenses incurred by a company or a cooperative society which uses products or agriculture, animal husbandry, dairy or poultry farming as raw material. The expenses in respect of which weighted deduction is allowed do not relate directly to the assessee's business. I propose to provide that such companies or cooperative societies would henceforth be entitled only to the deduction of expenses and not to the weighted deduction. The Income Tax Act provides deductions for expenditure or contributions made by assessees for approved programs or of rural development. Ongoing programs approved by the prescribed authority will continue to enjoy the benefits of the deduction up to the terminal date in respect of time bound programs. However, with a view to preventing possibility of misuse, it is proposed not to allow any further deductions on this score. It is not the intention of the government to deprive genuine rural development programs of corporate support. The government would shortly establish a fund called the Prime Minister's Fund for Rural Development Contributions, to which would enjoy exemption under the Income Tax Act. The special deduction allowed neither to in respect of profits and gains from business of livestock breeding or poultry or dairy farming and from business of growing mushroom is proposed to be withdrawn. I see little justification for continuing this fiscal concession to these business in view of the room for abuse. However, in order to encourage and strengthen primary cooperative for oilseeds, fruits and vegetables, I propose to provide full exemption from tax for such cooperatives stock.